The market is really hot here, and I have a good friend of mine whose sister is moving from New York, but they recommended her to buy a brand new home. And at the moment, they did not see a need for a realtor because they could go straight to the builder, and plus they will be in a waiting list. So they kind of see a realtor as a hurdle. How would you talk to them, if you were in my situation, to convey about your value as a realtor?
Well, now, is
to
this
that
your sister? Wait a second. You said this is your sister?
friend, very good friend of mine. Her sister is moving from New York.
Oh, I see. Okay. So the misconception, this is a great question, Annette. Everybody pay attention. This is great stuff. What I'm about to lay down for you. The misconception that buyers and sellers have, I don't know if it's misconception, it's not awareness. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but they think all we do is show houses. And so what you're saying, Annette, is because they can go right to the builder, they don't need a realtor. But that's showing houses, research and finding houses to show a buyer is, I say, the least of what we do. Because yes, it's true. You want to find houses, you just go online, go to realtor.com or go to Zillow.com. It's easy to find the listings. Where we earn our weight in gold, where we bring the value, is helping somebody navigate the real estate transaction from start to finish. First of all, when it comes to the builder is not representing the buyer. The builder's representing themselves. That's the first thing. And if they've got an in-house agent, I would also question who that agent is representing if they're representing the buyer. Part of what we do is we watch, in this example, Annette, they need to hire an agent to make sure that their rights are protected, that they can navigate this smoothly, that they can get the financing and order the paperwork and all those things. Listen, selling, how many hours does it take, Annette, to get licensed in Florida? So if you want to get licensed as a real estate agent in Florida, how many hours of class do you have to take?
65, I believe.
All right, 65. Well, do me a favor, make sure you double check, because you said you, all right. So I want you to make sure it's 65. So if it's 65 hours, you didn't get your license out of a Cracker Jack box, right? It took 65 hours of education. And then even after that, after you take that doesn't guarantee you still got to take a test. That's not the easiest test to take. So this is why they need representation. Okay. Here's another example. I use this analogy a lot because I think it's just perfect. If you were going to go catch, if you were in the fishing business and you go out into the ocean, you catch fish and you bring the fish on board, that's only part of the process. So a restaurant, what they have to do is you got to take the fish, you got to clean you got to first of all make sure you've got good quality fish. And then from there, you're going to clean the fish, you're going to gut the fish, and then you got to season, then you got to cook the fish and season it and then you bring it to the table and serve it nice. So there's a whole process. And all buyers and sellers think that we do as real estate agents is catch the fish, meaning either finding the house or finding the buyer. No, man, once we get the deal on board, there's a whole other process that we do. We've got to be chefs. We've got to be cleaning it. We've got to cook it and season it. Does that make sense, Annette?
Yes. I mean, I can say a lot more. I did the GRI, CIPS, RENE, ABR, and of course, Power Agent.
There you go. So add those hours to the 65 hours that you've got. That's brilliant, Annette. You're also
broker too.
Yeah. So listen, there is years and hours of experience in why a buyer needs to work with you to make sure that their best interests are covered. There's things that the buyer doesn't know that they don't know, and that's why they. Good.
I'm sorry, interrupted.
It's all right. Go ahead. What do you got?
The waiting list, because they might be thinking, if I'm in a waiting list with an agent, with a real estate agent, and they have to pay them a commission, I might have to wait more if I'm not with an agent.
Well, I can't speak to that. The only thing I can say because that sounds like a local question that I can't address, but here's what I would do if my advice in that. Is this broker listing their properties on MLS?
Yes, I think they're doing it.
So if the builder is listing his properties on MLS, he cannot discriminate against your buyers because they're working with an agent. He'd be breaking some laws with working on through your MLS system. You cannot, it's again, and that's number one. Even, by the way, now that I'm talking through it in that, even if he wasn't on MLS, it's against the law for any business to boycott another person in the same industry, right? So they can't say that, you know, because you are coming from, your buyer is coming from another agent, you're going to be at the bottom of the list and we're going to put our buyers at the top of the list. There's a law that they're breaking there. So you need to do some homework on that, okay?
I will. And one more question. One time you suggested, because I speak 4 languages, and you suggested to, you know, have like to have as my trademark, like I speak your language. And one time, somebody suggested that to me, and I was with Keller Williams, and I brought that up in a meeting, and everybody was like, no, because that's about you. It's not about the service. You're bringing other. You're talking about yourself. What would you think?
Well, here's what I think is that if I wanted to get marriage advice, not that I need it, but if I went to go get marriage advice, I would go to somebody who had a good marriage, not somebody who's been divorced several times. So I would pay attention to where the advice is coming from. If these are really successful agents and they're doing a bunch of business and you want to be like them, then I would heed their advice. My opinion is that branding you is about branding you. And as far as a mission statement of what you say that you're committed to with people, that's different, right? So, you know, like our brand here is, you know, or what we're committed to when we talk about students is helping them design careers and lives worth smiling about. So that is the mission statement we have, but that's not our brand as much as it's some other stuff, which we won't get into right now. But anyway, so I don't know if I agree with the agents telling you not to have a slogan that says, I speak your language. So that's my opinion. Okay.
I agree with you. I agree. And that makes so much sense. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, Annette. You're welcome. I will tell you, gang, and this is one of my pet peeves, is that there's a lot of, in our industry, you will find people that will have a lot of opinions about what you do. And even we see them active in our associations. And what frustrates me is that when there's people that are not successful in real estate, but they're very politically involved and they try and give advice, like, so just keep in mind what I said. If you want to get advice, marriage advice, you don't get it from somebody who doesn't have successful marriages. All right.